Hey, what's going on, you guys? JPin here, and I'm here to talk about my experience with Forza Horizon 3. Now, I'm not the biggest driving fan, but I do enjoy some racing games, and I have played a couple of the older Forza games. I really enjoyed the first one for the Xbox. Played a couple of the ones after that. I even got the launch title that was for the Xbox One, but I never picked up a Horizon series game, so this is my first entry to the series. And for those that don't know the difference, the regular Forza games, they're more straight up simulator racing games, and the Horizon ones, they're a bit more open world, which is what actually hooked me onto this game. I get easily lost in open world games, and this has that feel for sure. Now, you are driving around this giant open world in Australia, where they have different goals out there for you. It's not just you just race. They also have these certain parts where you have to hit a certain threshold of miles per hour to get some credits. There's also drifting zone. There's these stunt jumps out there. There's this thing called the bucket list challenge, where it's these goals, driving certain cars, doing certain objectives with them. There's also hidden signs everywhere. They're hidden farms that you get notifications for here and there about. And of course, you're able to race around against different drivatars. Now, drivatars are basically AIs that get made whenever a player races, and after a while, a drivatar learns from that player, and then basically that shoots online and challenges different opponents. In this world of Australia that you are playing in, it's pretty crazy. It's a pretty I won't say small, but it's a good chunk of land where you have different you have grasslands there, you got desert, you got the city, you got rainforests, you got the beach, and it's all done pretty nicely. They're pretty there are these certain areas that you unlock after completing certain objectives, and you unlock different camps on each of these different terrains, and you get to race around that. And if you want to keep building that up, you're able to expand and get more races or more things around that area. And kind of the nice thing about it is that you don't always have to race in order to unlock more events or anything like that. Probably half the things I've done in this isn't even racing. I just went out and explored the world, looking for different signs, trying to find some hidden farms that I couldn't find for some odd reason. Then there I would find random stunt objectives to do, or bucket list challenges. A whole bunch of times I got sidetracked when I'm looking for something specifically, or try to go to a race, and then I just end up finding this crazy stunt that I spend the next 10-15 minutes trying to master. Then also, it's nice that most of these things isn't based on your level, because you do have a level that just keeps on growing, but it's more on the fans that you get. And whenever you do an event, you get more fans, or at least when it's the first time you do an event. For instance, if you go through one of those speeding zones and you do a 1-star score, you get a good amount of fans. But if you go through that speeding thing and you still have a 1 star, then you won't gain any more fans because of that, unless you get a 2 or 3 stars. And same thing with the different stunt objectives. But I want to say same thing with the races. Once you get first there, you can't really get any more fans because of that race. And once again, it's cool that you get fans other than driving. So then there are plenty of times where I unlock areas by not even racing anything and just doing random objectives that I found in the world. As for the control and feeling of these cars, they feel nice. I have no complaints about the controllers at all. It's also pretty nice that it uses the force, the rumble triggers on the Xbox One controllers. There isn't anything too off, just if I feel I mess, or if I feel I slide around too much, and I feel that's just my fault. And also the terrain, also the times it gets rainy, or of course if you drive off-road, then it becomes a bit trickier to handle, and that's no issue. I didn't really find a thing where it's this messed up because the game is messing up. I always fault it more on me than anything. Though this one time I did experience this weird little glitch. After every time I get out of the menu, my car would do a little hop. But as soon as I got out of that and went back to it, it was totally gone. Then any other glitches I experienced seemed more visual hiccups here and there. There was a couple of times where I would have just my car stationary there, and I would see the shadows, and instead of like, cause you know there's a day and night cycle in the game, but instead of like everything going by smoothly, there are times where I saw like jumps in the shadows, and it was very, very noticeable and kind of threw me off at times. But the graphics themselves, they look pretty nice. Probably the best graphics I've seen for the Xbox One, no doubt. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I am playing this on the Xbox One. It's not the PC version. I did get it digitally, so I do have the PC version. I want to give that a shot once I do get a nice graphics card, but at the moment I don't have one in my PC. And also with the looks, getting cars is pretty easily, and one cool thing is when you do buy a car, is that they do have like that art section where people probably spend most of their time like creating like these different like graphics on cars. There are a couple like cool ones that I got myself. I think the coolest one I have is like someone actually like drew out Shockwave from Transformers in there. It looks pretty crazy. I got it on my like Lamborghini van. It looks pretty ill. So based off this, you can probably tell that I am enjoying this. I'm having a fun time with this game. I would recommend it to people who aren't looking for a very die-hard racing sim. People that just love racing games. And this also feels like kind of arcadey. Like, it's not like balls out crazy like how Burnout was, but it reminds me of that. I haven't really played a racing game that's kind of crazy like that in a while. Yeah, but that was my thoughts on Forza Horizon 3. Definitely check it out if, once again, if you are into racing games. With that, you guys, I'm off. Peace. Yes, so this was called the Famicom, or the family computer. So as you see there, and what you guys will probably see there, is that the controllers are right there on the system itself. So it's already attached to it. So that's how it's going to be the same style. For the most part, you know, same thing, HDMI, it's a smaller version. I know a lot of people, a lot of retro collectors like that console itself, so chances are they're probably going to want to import this too. As for differences with the game libraries, from what I read, there are only 2 games